the weather is really cold. I go to the gym.
Well, welcome everyone. I was told I'm introducing myself. So I'm Greg Dwyer. I got to tell you, we have a real problem. And the problem is distraction. It really is. I'm from Connecticut, but I used to live in Hicksville. Haven't been in New York in about 5 years, and I just took the route. And in Connecticut, they have these signs that say, don't text and drive. And then they had signs that said, don't drink and drive, but I haven't seen any of those. Now I see, don't drive and be distracted. I've never seen that before. It's like, it's only been around like a couple weeks. And then when I came into Long Island this afternoon, I saw signs that said, phone down, eyes up. Brilliant. Distraction, big problem. And I'll tell you why. 400,000 people every year in America get hurt because they're behind the wheel. They look at this, they look down, 400,000. And sadly, 4,000 people die every year just because they're distracted behind the wheel. The other day I read something, I'd never seen this before. In a work week of 7 days, the average employee spends 12 and a half hours per week on social media, on their phone, distracted and not doing their job. I couldn't believe it. The average person, I don't know if you have a cell phone, but the average person picks up their phone every day and they tap it, they swipe it, and they click it over 2,000 times. The number is 2,600 times. That's the average. It's like technology is taking over rather than we're using technology. Now here's another startling thing. If you're in business, maybe you're retired or not, but in business it's estimated that $650 billion is wasted every year in America, just in America, in 1 year, because people are going to work, they're not engaged, they don't care, and they're wasting time and they're wasting money. Distraction, it is a big problem, especially with the kids. Especially with the kids. So I've been thinking about this for 10 years. I know that's a long time. You think I would figure it out by now. I consider myself a focus expert, but what I have discovered is this, that what I thought the answer was not the answer. When I started out 10 years thinking about this, I said, you know, I think the answer is discipline. Really, I said, you know, if you could just be disciplined at your job or disciplined at what you want to do, you would be focused. And I really thought that discipline was the answer. Then the other thing I thought was, no, it's not discipline, because discipline didn't work for me. I thought it was willpower. Like, if I could just stay focused and use willpower, then I could stay focused. Well, here's what happened. It's like lighter fluid. You throw it on a fire or you throw it on kindling, I mean it bursts up, but it doesn't last. Willpower and discipline does not last. So what I'm going to share with you between 7 and 8 o'clock tonight is what does work. And it 100% works every single time. And the good news is you don't have to take notes. Because at the end of the lecture, I'm going to give you all of my notes, all of my PDFs. So you don't have to take notes. All you have to do is participate. And the more you participate, and the more you're focused. Did that stage just move? I'm going to think about that on the night. I hope they have liability insurance. All right, so focus is the key. Focus really is the key. So if you want to learn something tonight, I want you to stand up, put your cell phones away, put your pens away, put your papers away, and just stand up on your feet. Go ahead, stand up. And if you're home watching, you can stand up as well. We have some people on Zoom. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to do what I do. It's like Simon says, and I'm going to show you how discipline and willpower is not going to help you, because it didn't help me for 10 years. And then finally I had an epiphany. So what I'd like you to do is just, Simon says, just do this. Simon says, do this. Simon says, do this. Simon says, do this. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, Simon said, I'm just going to stop, but I want you to see if you can, yeah, it's kind of hard. Let's try it one more time. So we'll get it a little faster, but I'll say, Simon says, clack, and then I'm going to stop it one time, but you're not going to know Yeah, it's hard, it's difficult. Let's try this one. Bring your hand out like this, your fist, and then just bring one finger up just like that. Now let's start again. That's your thumb, this is your finger. See how easy it is to get distracted? It is so easy to get distracted. So easy to get distracted. So let's try this. Take your hand out like this. Now bring your finger out just like this. Your finger should be just like this, just like that. Now make a circle. You're going to make a circle. See the circle here? You all should have a circle. Put it right on your chin. Those of you that are thinking, this is your chin. All right. This is your chin, sir. Okay. All right. So see how easy it is to get distracted. Now, there's 4 types of people that react to this thing. The first type is the person that's so analytical. They're an engineer. They're really, thinking oriented. They're detailed oriented. They love to take things apart. Sometimes they don't put it back together, but you know how they are. They're very, how many of you can relate to that personality? You have, okay, a couple people. That's fine, that's fine. Then there's the other type of person, oh gosh, I feel bad for them because they are very empathetic. They're like, oh, I'm so sad I got it wrong. And not only that, but they feel bad for the person that got it wrong too. How many of you feel that way or felt that way? You're very empathetic. You can feel, yeah, you can feel people's emotions, exactly. Then there's another type of person, they just want to have fun. They don't care. They go like this, like, oh my gosh, that's so funny, I can't believe I did it. They just want to have a good time tonight. They want to learn something, but they also want to have fun. How many of you can relate to that as well? Okay, good. And then there's the last person, they're the leader tip jar. They're like, why are we doing this? They put it here, and then when no one's looking, they move it over here. They're like, this is stupid, I can't wait till this is over. How many of you can relate to that? Anybody? Anybody? All right, this man. And how many of you wouldn't raise your hand no matter what I asked you? It has to be somebody here. All right. So, we're going to do this. We're going to do something that is completely different. Now that I know the audience, I want you to focus on what's important to you. Now, a few of you I asked you beforehand, but I'm asking all of you. Think about something that you want to focus on this hour. Just one thing. You can't have 5 priorities. One priority, one thing. So don't tell me, but think of one thing that you cherish, that you want more of, and that you value. Like if you think of a triangle, it would be at the top of the triangle, right? So take your hands like this. If you're right-handed or left-handed, it's up to you which one you want to have dominant. It's up to you. And I want you to use visualization and imagination. And here's the imagination. Imagine that what you want is right in the middle, right in the middle. So if it's love, or if it's travel, or if it's money, you would see that. And then you're going to bring your hands together, and this symbolizes getting what you want. So you can do it slow, or you can do it fast. It's up to you. But you want to visualize getting it. And then when you feel comfortable, bring your hands together just like this. So eventually you're all going to get like this, hopefully before 8 o'clock tonight. All right? So, here's what I know. If your right thumb is over the left, take a look, that means you have a 90% chance of getting what you want. If your left thumb is over the right, you're probably not going to get what you want, but you're really good looking and you know it, and it really doesn't matter. Okay, want you to do it again. This time, you got to do something different. If your right thumb was over the left, you want to switch it. So whatever thumb you use, switch it. So think about what you want. Think about what you want. Bring your hands together. Visualize getting closer to your goal, getting closer to what you want. Now, switch your thumbs so it's the other way around. Now, this is true. The other one was a joke. This is true. If you don't have what you want, it means that getting it is going to feel different or difficult or uncomfortable. How many of you can relate because the thumb is different, right? So let's do something really different. Hands out like this, thumbs pointed towards the ceiling. You're going to take your left arm, and you're going to put it over the right. Exactly, if you can do this. Then you follow me. Then you're going to bring your hands down like this, and then you're going to hold them tight, just like this. So you're going to so the pinky is on the top, right? The pinky is on the top. The thumb is on the bottom. Is your thumb on the bottom? Okay. I know your hands click. All right. All right. Good. So what I want you to do is I want you to see, because you weren't thinking about it, which thumb was on top. This is how you're going to know. Watch me. You're going to just simply do this. Yeah, just do it. What's the matter? Okay, now you can do this. Okay, have a seat. So, if I was a magician, I wouldn't tell you how I did that. But because I'm not a magician anymore, I'm going to explain to you how I did it. By the way, if you ever go to Vegas and you go to Caesars, you'll see David Copperfield, and this is how he opens his show. He opens his show with the hand. So you have to promise to me when you walk out this door, you don't tell, you promise you don't say anything. All right, so this is what I did. You don't have to do this. You can simply just watch me. You can focus on me. So this is what I did. I asked you to take the left arm and put it over the right. I asked you to do this. And then I said to you, if you're doing it right, I pointed over here to the woman in front in yellow, I said your pinkies are at the top, right, which was fine. But then I moved over here and I said your thumb should be at the bottom, like right here. At that point I let go. I let go. And you see what I'm saying? I let go. So because you were focused on your pinkies and your thumb, you didn't see me. You didn't see me let go. You didn't focus on that. So when I went like this and I went like this, you were really amazed, but it's not really that amazing. You know what I mean? It's not. It's not. So, you know, when you know the trick, it's like, oh, I can't believe I. All right, let's do it again. All right, this time, I want you to focus on when I go like this. So that's what I want you to look at. Okay? So everyone stand up. Let's do it again. Make believe we just walked in the room. My name's Greg. We just met each other. So take your left arm. Put it over the right. So you need both hands. Yeah. Okay, you got it like this, right? Like you're a dolphin. I mean, we are near the water. All right, now go like this. Turn it. Go ahead. Turn it. All right. Now watch when I take the thumbs apart. Ready? Watch. Watch up here. The pinkies are up at the top, and the thumb. I really don't have to do that because I already did. Got it? See it?
Thumbs on top.
See it? Oh yeah, I already did it. Now do this. And have a seat. Have a seat. So this raises the question of multitasking. Should we multitask? The answer is the research, no. No. Now, can you talk on the phone? Yes. Can you do the laundry? Yes. And can you also cook a meal? Yes, you can do it. It's not a big deal. But here's what the research shows. The research shows that if the thing you're working on is really important, do not multitask. Driving a car. Remember I told you? Driving a car. If it's really important, and it is, you don't want to be doing 10 things at once. Multitasking is not good if what you're doing is really, really important. What's your name? Karen. All right. So, if I'm meeting Karen, where are you from?
Local.
Like, nice, close by. Did you walk? Did you drive?
We walked up, but less than a mile.
Okay, less than a mile. I used to live in Hicksville. How far is that?
Hicksville?
Yeah.
5 or 6 miles.
Okay.
I would have said 5.
Okay. So, what's your name?
Carmen.
Carmen. So, if I'm looking at you, Karen, and we're talking about Hicksville and where you live, I can only see you. That means she is the most important thing right now. Now, if I'm talking to Karen, and I look at my watch, or I look over here, what does that tell you? It tells you that you're not that important. So the research shows that whatever you want to make happen, which is your focus, you have to dedicate 100% of your time to it. I mean, how do you feel when I'm looking at you and I'm having a real heartfelt conversation? It feels good because most people don't do that anymore. So when I'm looking at you, I see just you. But I know there's a gentleman sitting over here, but I really can't see him at this point. I know there's 2 women over here. I know there's a painting over here, but I really can't see it. Now when I bring my hands over here, I know I'm moving my fingers, but I can't see it. Because I can't take in everything. The only thing I can take in, if I want to show you, like I'm in sales, I do sales training, I work for companies, I say, look, talk to your boss, you got to be there. Talk to your client, you have to be there. People know when you're looking around. So the research shows that if it's really, really important, multitasking is not going to help you. So let me show you what I'm talking about. Finger up. We did this before, remember? So this is easy. Finger up. Everybody finger up. Right foot out. Simon says. I need to say Simon says. Simon says right foot out. Finger up. Now what you're going to do is you're going to move your right foot clockwise. So we got it at 12 o'clock, 3, 6, 9, and you're going to move that clockwise, clockwise, clockwise. Keep your finger up in the air. Now as your foot is going around in the circle clockwise like a clock, I'd like you to take your finger and draw the number 6 in the air. You can't do two things at once, okay? So, eyes up, thumbs down. It's that simple. So if your loved one, if your boss, if your client, if your taxes are due on the 15th or the 18th or whatever it is, you want to be focused. You don't want to be doing 3 or 4 times. Now the guy who turned me on to this about 10 years ago was a guy by the name of George Miller. And by the way, this is in the notes. You don't have to write this down. He wrote a paper called The Magical Number of 7. How many?
7.
I can't hear you. 7. So you can Google this. Not now. Phone's down. So the magical number of 7. He wrote this paper, and what he determined is there's billions of bits of information going on at all times in all seconds. Billions. There's so many things. There's the second hand on that clock that you're not aware of. There's the second hand on this clock that I wasn't aware of until I looked at it. So there's billions of bits of information going on. We can only focus on, guess. 7, yeah, that's it. He said about 7 bits of information, give or take a couple, that's it. So if I want to focus here and then I want to move over here, I have to leave my focus and go somewhere else. So years ago, I don't know if you saw this on the internet, there was an experiment. It was really fun, actually. It's called the monkey business illusion. And what they did is they had 2 teams. They had one team over here with a basketball. They had another team over here with a basketball. This team had black jerseys on. This team had white jerseys on. You can Google this and look at it afterwards. But what they did is they said, we want you to count how many times the basketball is being passed between the white team. So that white team was wearing white shirts, white pants. Then they had a black team, black shirt, black pants. And you just focused on the white team, and they passed the ball. And at the end, they said, hey, how many times did they pass the basketball between the one team that we told you to focus on? The answer is 16, spoiler alert. Then they said, did you see the gorilla? Yeah. So, in the middle of the passing of the basketball between the white team and the black team, because the black team was doing it too, this guy in a monkey suit, not me. This guy in a monkey suit walks out, he's 6'8", goes like this, and walks off the stage, and only 50% of the people that watched the video the first time actually saw the monkey do this. All phones down, eyes up. That's the reason. So, I don't have a gorilla because I'm on a budget. But I will tell you this, here's a way to feel this experiment. If I were to tell you to look around and focus on 7 things that are red, could you do that? Just look around for a second. The first thing I went to is the flag, and the second thing I went to is Tammy's sweater. It's Tammy, right? Tammy's wearing a red sweater, so there's right off the bat, there's 2, and then this gentleman in the front row has an emblem on his shirt. There's a little bit of red there. There's red on the flag. Oh, the exit sign and the other exit sign is red. Anybody see the fire extinguisher over there? Okay, fine. So we got 7, how many things? 7 things that are red. No big deal. You know, you memorize your telephone number. It's 7 digits. You can crunch it down. It's easy to do. Now, if I tell you, hey, let's memorize 7 blue things. Blue. Well, I'm going to the flag. That's the first place I'm going. I'm going to the sky over here. That flag over there. This gentleman over here is kind of wearing blue, or maybe it's purple, but everybody's wearing blue jeans that are wearing blue jeans. So, you know, we could probably come up with 7 things that are blue and say, hey, that's not that hard, right? So now, if I said to you, I want you to think of another 7 things that are red. Now you're going to start, oh, I don't know if you saw this, you're going to start seeing things that are beige, like maybe her shirt, and say that's red, but it's not really red. But you start to say, oh my gosh, it's like overwhelming, I got to think of another 7 things. And now we're at 7 more things that are red, and then I say, what if we did this? What if we said on top of it, come up with another 7 things that are blue? You would be overwhelmed. You'd be overwhelmed, because you're just like, have people been overwhelmed in the last 2 years? You better believe they have been. You know, overwhelmed, stressed out, and the reason why they feel that way is because there's too much information coming to them at all times, 24 hours a day. So back to the monkey business illusion. They said to the people, now that you saw the gorilla, we want you to watch the video again. Okay? So we want you to count the numbers of the passes of the basketball, but we want you to look for the gorilla. The gorilla's right in the room. You gotta look for the guy. So they play the tape again. And they stop it and they go, how many of you saw the gorilla? And everybody put their hands up. Everybody. Then they said to them, did you notice that the backdrop curtain changed from red to orange? It totally changed. It was red, now it's orange. Did you notice that one of the team players walked off the team? Nobody noticed it. Nobody. So the first time that I experienced this is when I was in the Middle East back in the 90s. A friend of mine invited me to go to the Middle East, and I was completely overwhelmed. And the reason why I think it's culture shock is because when you're at a place that's new, there's too much information coming at you. So the smells, the bells, the language. And I had a guide, and the guide said to me, Greg, are you okay, Greg? And I said, I'm overwhelmed. He says, listen, you need to focus on this. Watch out for the pickpockets. I said, why? What do you mean? He says, they're better than magicians because they have to eat and they know you're distracted. And when you're distracted, it's easy to take your wallet. Be very, very careful. So I've traveled all over Europe. For the last 10 years, I've been mostly everywhere, leading trips and doing speaking. No one's ever taken anything from me. I've had people hug me, strangers. I've had people bump into me. I've had people say to me, is this your wallet? You know, I've had crazy things happen to me. Even on a bus, somebody put their hand in my back pocket, but no one has ever taken anything from me because I listened to my guide who told me what to do. A few years later, we're in Bethlehem, and I'm a guide, and I have a group of people that are getting on the bus, and they're getting on the bus, and this one guy stands to the side of the bus, and he doesn't get on the bus. He was a nice guy, sweet guy from Nebraska. And I said, Billy, would you please get on the bus? And he wouldn't listen to me. This is a true story. I said, Billy, get on the bus. And there was a circle of people around him. One person had postcards, the other person had scarves, they had different knickknacks, and they circled all around him trying to sell him their wares. One guy had a flute, the other one had like postcards and scarves. And I said, Billy, please, get on the bus. He wouldn't listen. I tried everything. Finally, he opens up his wallet, he buys the flute for the $1, he gets the change, he gets back on the bus. That night, he comes to me and he says, all of my money's gone. True story. And I thought to myself as a guy, like, how could I have helped this guy? Discipline didn't work, willpower didn't work, he didn't listen to me. And then as I began to think about it, I thought this. The reason why he wouldn't listen to reason is because in his mind, the most important thing, think of a triangle, right now in your mind, think of a triangle. At the top of the triangle was a flute at the dollar store. That was the most important thing to him. Now, over here in my mind, if I had a triangle, at the top of my triangle would be, Billy, you need to get on the bus because I'm responsible for you and I feel bad and I want you to get on the bus and I want you to make sure you're okay. He wouldn't listen to me. So at the top of his triangle or at the top of his pyramid or the top of what was really important to him was this flute. And then the other thing that I realized through research is that he had invisible patterns working against him. Now, when I read this about 8 years ago, I was completely shocked. And if you don't take anything from the lecture, this is really life-changing. What the research shows is that we have 45 to 65,000 thoughts every single day. So today is Tuesday, the 11th. So the average person has 45 to 65,000 thoughts every single day, and the next day it will be repeated 90%. So here I am, Monday morning. Today, Tuesday or Monday. So 90% of what I'm doing here is going to be repeated here, and it's going to be repeated here. See, so I don't even know what day it is, because it's just being repeated. So just think about this for a minute. 45 to 65,000 thoughts every single day, and 90% of them are the same. So this guy was thinking to himself, oh, I just want to buy a flute, no big deal. That's no big deal. It's $1. So this invisible pattern was really working behind the scenes, because if he was in Nebraska and someone asked him to buy something, he would just simply say, oh, okay, no big deal, right? So he wasn't aware of it. Now it gets even more startling. Not only do we have 45 to 65,000 thoughts every single day, and 90% are being repeated and repeated and repeated, about 48% of our life is just a habit. Same clothes, same people we talk to, the same food we eat, the same route. You know, I haven't been down through Connecticut to New York in 5 years, and I was wondering, hey, could I do this again? And as I did it, I thought to myself, wow, this is amazing. I remember this like yesterday. Habits, habits, habits. 48% of how we live our life is one day after another, and guess the reason why we do it? We want to be comfortable. That's it. We're afraid to do something new. So we get into a comfort zone, or we get into a rut. It kind of reminds me of that movie Groundhog Day with Bill Murray. I love this movie. He wakes up, it's February, he's a reporter. How many of you seen the movie? Yeah, oh my gosh, I can't believe it. I see this every February. He wakes up, the alarm clock goes on, it's Sonny and Cher, I got you, babe, and then he hears this thing that says, rise and shine, campers, and don't forget your booties, because it's cold outside. And then he walks over to the window and he sees everybody going to Nobbler Hill. You know, no big deal. The next day, the alarm goes off, Sonny and Cher. He hears the voice, rise and shine, campers, and don't forget your booties, because it's cold outside. And he says, they're playing yesterday's track. He doesn't realize he's playing yesterday's track. He's playing yesterday's track. The next day, he does the same thing. The next day, he does the same thing. The next day, he tries willpower. He tries discipline. Nothing works. He gets so depressed, he wants to kill himself until he changes, until he has a transformation where he realizes what he put at the top of the triangle isn't that important, which is himself, and that love and family and friends is more important, and everything changes for him. So, I want you to realize how you've been conditioned in your life. How you've been conditioned the moment you walked in at 7 o'clock, the way you've been conditioned by the media, the way you've been conditioned by our culture. You have been conditioned, and you have conditioned yourself. Let me explain. I'd like you to think of a number between 1 and 10, like 3, but the first number that comes to mind is 7. Now I'm sending you a color. I'm actually sending you 2, red and blue. And I want you to think of 2 different shapes, one inside the other. Not like a square, but simple geometric shapes. Circle, triangle. So from the beginning of this lecture, I have put in these different shapes, numbers, and colors to show you how easy it is to condition you. It's like Pavlov's dog. You hear the music and you start crying. Or you see the movie and you start laughing because you've been conditioned. And really what happens is, most cases, we have conditioned ourselves. 45 to 65,000 thoughts every single day, and 90, can you imagine this? 90% of them are the same the next day. How do you feel about that? So when I started reading this and studying this, I said to myself, you know, I don't want to trick people, because I started as a magician back in the 70s when my uncle showed me a coin trick. But I came to the conclusion at the end of high school that I didn't want to pursue magic, and I didn't want to pursue deception. Even though I worked backstage for Doug Henning and Broadway show, The Magic Show, and I signed a form saying I wouldn't talk about magic, what I wanted to do is to help people get focused on what's important to them and help them stay focused so that they can reach their full potential. So I started a company a couple years ago called Diamond Mind Potential, and the purpose is to help people stay focused so that whatever is important to them, they can get it and stay focused. So that's what I'm doing. So I have a plan I want to share with you, and this, by the way, all of this is in the notes, but it's a very simple plan, very simple. The first thing that you want to do is you want to figure out what is important. So when I would travel, here's that triangle again. At the top was my passport, because my friend said to me, my guide said, hey, just be careful. And I said, well, I'm going to take a few things on these trips, but the most important thing for me, the most important is my passport, followed by my currency, followed by, my phone or camera. Down here would be bubble gum, right? So I knew immediately when I took these trips, and when I led the trip, because I had seen people put their passport in their safe, the next day they put it in the bag, the next day they put it in the back pocket, and they could not figure out where they put it. So what I did is I identified what was important, and the second thing is I made it a habit. So every single day I put my passport in the same place every single time so that I didn't have to think about it at all, not at all. So what are the habits when it comes to life? 3 things, TWA, T-W-A. This is the 45 to 65,000 thoughts, 90% of them are the same. This is our life, our thinking, our words to ourselves, the things we say to other people, and our actions. This is what's repeated every single day. Thoughts, words. It kind of reminds me of TWA, the airline that went out of business. But the habits have to do with these 3 things. Habits of thinking, habits of words, and habits of action. And then the last thing I thought about is secret. Now when I traveled, I didn't tell people where my passport was. Sometimes people would come up to me and say, is this your wallet? I found your wallet. Because they wanted me to go, no, I got my wallet, it's right here. They wanted to figure out where I was keeping my wallet, right? So I decided not to tell people that I wore my money and my passport underneath my clothes. So this is the part of the diamond that is the secret. That you don't want to tell anybody. Because if it's like really important, you want to keep it to yourself. So how many of you want to know what the secret is? Anybody? Okay, come on. All right. I can't tell you. I wish I could. I wish I could, but I can't. But I will tell you a story. I'm going to tell you a story. It's a great story. It's a true story. It's a guy by the name of Eric Weiss. Does anybody know him? He's buried not too far from here in Queens, actually. Do you know who he is? Eric Weiss. His real name is Eric Weiss. You know him as Harry Houdini. Yeah, Harry Houdini. He's married in, he's buried in Queens.
Buried in Cypress Hill.
Yes. I've been there a few times with some of my close friends. So this is true about Harry. Eric, his mom always called him Eric Weiss. Right? At the height of his career, he was challenged to get out of a safe. And he was in London. And I mean, it was the height of his career. And he's really famous. And they said, if you're really good at what you can do, can you get out of this safe? Could you get out? He thought about it. And he said, yeah, I'm going to do it. I'm going to get out of the safe. I'm going to escape. So they brought the safe there. Picture this in your mind. Harry gets into the safe. The door is locked. The curtain is drawn. And I think it was like 20 minutes, something like that. And he gets out. So the question I have is, how did he do that? So I'd like you to reflect on it. Just contemplate on it. So Harry gets in the safe, the door is locked, and then he gets out. And I guess the question would be, how did he do that? Right? Like, That's the first thing I would think of. How did Harry do that, right? Any ideas? Well, if you had the time, and we don't because we only have about a half an hour left, if you had the time and you just contemplated on this question, and you reflected, okay, this guy gets in the safe is locked, he gets out, you might have a flash of insight just because you reflected. So a good question is, how do you do it? But it's a little misleading, because a better question is this: what's it safe for? Keep people out. How many of you have been locked out of your car? You ever been locked in your car? No. So Harry knew what was important to him. He wasn't going to take on the challenge. He wasn't dabbling. Imagine Harry Houdini in front of a live audience in London. You know, I don't know if this is going to work. I don't know. I'm kind of dabbling. I don't know if I should do this. That was not Harry. Harry was in this 100%. His outcome, what was important to him, was he had to get out of the safe. So he didn't have 1 foot over here, 1 foot here. It wasn't dabbling. He was 100% in on it. So he knew his outcome. He knew that the most important thing was to get out of the safe. Number 2, he had a habit. Here was the habit. My brain is the key that sets me free. I like to say it this way. My mind is the key that sets me free. So Harry didn't have any supernatural powers. I don't. Maybe I'm a little bit, have a little bit of intuition, but I don't have psychological problems. That's another story. All right, so H is, he said this to himself over and over again. And then lastly, here's the other secret that he kept. The safe was brought to him 24 hours before the audience got there. So Eric, he had 24 hours to reflect. He had 24 hours to contemplate. He got in the safe. He looked at it. The audience wasn't there. It showed up that day, and he really had time to look at the safe from the inside out, because he knew he was going to make his escape from the inside out. And the last thing is, he had a key made. He had a key made, and the key was the thing that allowed him to get out of the safe. So Harry knew his outcome. He had a habit of being successful. He wasn't going to take a chance. If he couldn't do it, he wouldn't do it, because he practiced the night before. He had the safe there. And then the secret was that he thought differently. He thought differently than the people in the audience. The people in the audience were amazed, because they were saying, how did he do that? But if they had focused on the question, well, what is a safe for, Charlotte? Whoa, a safe is to keep people out, not in. Oh, what do we waste our time for? We should have just got lunch. So, here is what the bottom part is. The bottom part is simply reflection. So this is not a diamond. All this is a triangle, and this is a reflection of what. So what is above is below. So this T turns into almost like an I. Reflection. So that's knowing what you want, making it a habit, and then lastly, keeping it a secret. So let me hand you the key. Let me hand you the key that you already have in your own hand. All it is contemplation. All it is reflection. And in our world today, people do not have time to reflect. They don't have time for contemplation. I'm not saying you need to join a monastery. I'm saying that reflection breaks the spell of distraction and allows you to focus on what's important and to change your habits of thoughts, and also keeping it a secret. So this is what it looks like. This is not a magic trick, by the way. So I'm holding this like this, and I'm focusing on the watch, and I'm saying to myself, circle. And it's moving in a circle. So, my thoughts, My words, my actions are all congruent. It's really, I mean, you can try this with the ring at home. It's nothing magical, it's nothing supernatural. I'm literally just saying circle, and there's the circle. Now, if I want to be creative, I can say rockabye baby. Now, what you're seeing is a symbolic metaphor of my thoughts, my words, and my actions all in line. Because I'm saying this, and it's doing that. So, let me show you how I would do this in real life. So, currently in my life, right now, the most important thing to me is writing a book. So I'm writing a book. The title of the book is called Better Focus. And I think that the book will help my speaking career. I think it will help my business. So for me, the most important thing for me right now is writing my book. So up here is that. Remember, bubble gum is down here. So this is the most important thing for me. Now, I have habits. I have 45 to 65,000 thoughts every single day, 90% of them the same, 48% of my life is the same tomorrow. So I have this, thoughts, I have words, I have actions. So I wake up in the morning and I say to myself, who am I kidding? I'm not an author. I'm not an author. Well, I do have an education, so I can't say that, but I probably would say, oh, well, I really don't have an education, which is another lie, right? And I say, well, I've never done it before, so my thoughts, my words, my actions are working against me because it's a pattern. Think of the guy in the movie Groundhog Day. So the reason to pick an intention here, the reason to pick something that's important here is to help you change this, to change your habits. Because this is TWA, autopilot. If you don't change it, it's going to go in the direction, and then you're going to get to a place someday, and you say, why am I doing here? What am I doing here? So setting your intention of what's important allows you to reflect on what the heck am I thinking? Really? And this is something that we can do. Dogs can't do it. Cats can't do it. Horses can't do it. Politicians can't do it. All right. So, it's examining my thoughts and saying, is that true? Is that true? And then, examining who I am. And saying, wait a minute, just because I haven't written a book doesn't mean I'm not a writer. I'm not a writer. I can create anything I want. So, it's setting an intention, changing the habits, and then keeping it a secret. Why keep it a secret? Because if you go around telling people, oh, I'm writing a book, I'm going to write a book someday, I'm going to write a book, I'm going to write a book, you're never going to write the book. The best time to tell people that you're writing a book is when you send the last draft to the editor and say, would you like a copy of my book? Because the brain, once you keep on talking about what you're going to do, your brain thinks you already have done it. So you have to keep it a secret. You can't talk about it. So social media, Facebook, all of that stuff is not going to help you. So what I decided to do about a year ago is I decided to put together a pack of playing cards with affirmational sayings on them. So like this one says, if you never try, you'll never live. Now these aren't for sale. You could probably make them yourself. Be proud of yourself is another one. They're all different. No fears, no limits. So I use these cards every single day to change my habits of thinking. And every single morning I spend at least 15 minutes just focusing on what is important to me. And then I use these cards. Like I'll do this. I'll just say, okay, be grateful for what you have and life will bring you more. Wow, that's a great thing to be thinking then. Oh, I'm not a writer, I don't think I can do it. I don't think it'll ever be good. No one will read the book. Okay, so here's another habit. Oh, wow. There is always light at the end of the tunnel. Some of you needed to hear that. All right, so be proud of yourself. So every single card is different. And that's a way of reconditioning your mind so that you're focusing on what you want and not what you don't want. Now, it tends to be in the West that we are very much focused on productivity. We're focused on getting results and making things happen. And so we tend to focus here. And that's the West. And the East tends to focus on reflection. What I've learned is you can combine them, and once you figure out what's important to you and you make it a habit and you make it happen, the next step is to find out what's important to your family, your friends, your coworkers, the people that you know, because in the process of doing that, you can make the connection to either motivate them or to help them get what they want. And I'm a firm believer that if you help enough people get what they want, then you'll get what you want. And I know this for certain. People at jobs today, they have an attention span as like a fly or a bumblebee. It's unbelievable. So we is really, really important. So I'd like you all to think about what is important to you. Just see it in your mind and visualize it and get an idea of what exactly it is. Okay, now I've never met any of you before this. We've never met on social media, but I'm going to tell you that I know a little bit about you just by spending some time with you. Because we're all the same. Don't say it out loud, but here are some symbols. This is a symbol of health and wholeness. So when I talk to people, I say, hey, what's important to you? And a lot of times people will come up to me and they'll say, I really want to be healthy. I want to be energetic. I don't want to be so tired. And so this is physical. This kind of reminds me of the sun. It's just, vitamin D. It's this idea of, think about it. A person that doesn't have their health, only wants one thing out of life. And a person that has their health, they might want 100 things. But if you lose your health, you're like, so this is health. This is important to people. So like when you're dealing with people, and you're talking to people at work, just realize that that's important. The other thing that's important to people is relationships. It could be lovers, husband, wife, family, friends. It's making a connection with two people. People want to be in groups of family, or they want to start families. So health, relationships. This is generalized, but this is who we are. And this is another one. It kind of reminds me of bacon, but it's not bacon. It's 3 squiggly lines, and this kind of reminds me of currency. Currency in the sense I want more money. I want more abundance. I want more freedom to travel. I want to have a better lifestyle. So I'm not really focused on my health. It's okay. My relationships are okay. Or maybe my relationships aren't okay. But you know what? If I could just get some more money, just some more money. This is what people think about. The next one is emotional stability. And think of a house. People live emotionally at certain places, which are habits. And this is like peace. This is like serenity. It's no drama. It's no conflict. I just want to feel. This is feelings of feeling emotionally healthy. So this is emotional. It's like free of anxiety, free of stress. I just want to feel good. I want to have peace. I want to have more money. I want to have relationships. I got to find my soulmate, or I got to have better health. And then the other one is usually a career thing. It's usually tied to, the star, your North Star, looking for something, that it's my passion in life. It's the thing that I want to work towards. Last night I did a Zoom show, and the woman said, I want to change careers, so she was here. So when you're talking to people, just realize that they're either here, which is health. They're focusing on how they feel their health. They're focusing on relationships. They're focusing on more money or abundance, or they just want peace, or they want serenity. They don't want drama. They don't want conflict. They just want to feel good about their emotions. They want to have peace in their life, or they want to have a better life. They want to have a better career. So I'm going to ask, is it Colleen?
Yep.
Okay, I'm going to ask Colleen to volunteer. Is that okay? All right, could you stand? Why don't you come on up? If we give you a, all right, she's not going to come up. So what we're going to do is, I want you to think about, without saying it out loud, Colleen and I met at the door, and I asked her to think about something in her life that was important. And I think I did that with Tammy too, and the rest of you I didn't have a chance to. But Colleen, I would imagine, don't say what it is, that it has to do either with your health, right? It either has, and this is the thing that you circled, it either has to do with relationships or currency or better lifestyle or maybe just peace of mind or better emotions, you know, serenity or your career. Yes or no, is one of those there? Yes? Yes, okay, good. So she's identified one of these things. So whatever that is, that would be the tip. It's not the flute for the dollar, right? It's not the flute for the dollar, right, Colleen? So it's something really important to her. So we don't know what it is, but it's what she's focused on right now. Now, we don't know what she's thinking, because I'm not a mind reader, you're not a mind reader. But if we stop focusing on ourselves and we start focusing on other people, which most people don't do, and we focus on what people say and what they do, these are great clues to figure out this, because we're probably never going to get to this except listening, and watching her, and then reflecting. Like if I had time, I'd ask her some questions, and I would take a guess. I'd say, well, I don't know. I don't know where you're at. You're probably at here, 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 or here. And then let's do this. You know what it is that you want, right? Okay. I'm going to give you one card. And we'll do it, since I have a Zoom audience here, let's just do it from here because I know you don't want to come up. So make believe I'm dealing the cards. I'll take my glasses off. I'm dealing the cards. I'm dealing the cards to you. And you just say stop anytime you want.
Stop.
Skip here or here?
Excuse me?
You would stop here or here?
Oh, yeah.
Here's okay?
Yeah.
Okay. All right,
Oh,
so
I got you, yes.
can you give her this card or she
Okay,
can
I
come
didn't
up?
stand up, I just didn't want to stand up there.
No, that's okay, that's okay.
Thank you.
There's liability. I'm taking my life in my hands,
No,
okay?
no, no. I don't know who that is.
Okay, you want to stand there? Okay, that's good.
Am I looking at it?
Yeah, take a look at the card. Don't say what it is. I want you to focus on the words. Focus on the words that is in the thing. Like, focus on the words that are there, not the color of the card, but focus the words. And then say the words to yourself over and over again as you're thinking about what you want. So as you're thinking about what you want, say the words or whatever's written on that card over and over and over again. So, I have feelings, and I'm just going to go with my feelings here, not the cards, my feelings. And what is your first name, Colleen?
Yes.
Spell it for me.
Collleen.
Okay. So I got Colleen here, and I'm just going to take an educated guess, and sometimes it's wrong. Actually, hold on. All right. I am going to put this right here. So, Colleen, without telling me, what attracted you to this workshop, this lecture tonight? Like, what was the thing that attracted you to this? Was it my handsome photo?
I
Yes.
didn't want to say it in front of everyone.
All right, yeah, okay, that's funny. So if you want to say it, you don't have to say it. What did you do for a living, or what do you do for a living now?
I retired from teaching during the pandemic.
Oh, okay, all right. So retired from teaching. So so you're doing nothing right now? Okay.
Do you want me to say it?
Yeah, if you want to. I mean, don't reveal anything you don't want to say. Like, don't reveal the card to me. Don't reveal what you're thinking of. But if I ask you something, it's just because I want to get to know you and I'm kind of figuring out like where she would be. You know what I mean? And I might get it right. I might not get it right. So, are you just doing?
I'm a substitute teacher.
Oh, okay. I did that too. I actually was in between jobs years ago. And the phone would ring, and I would go out and do it, except when it was special ed, because I'm telling you, the special ed, it drove me crazy. I felt like I was pulling my hair out. So I would say, and tell me if this means something to you, according to the card that you just checked. I would say that what you want, you have to focus on it, meaning the I. You have to be very clear and almost be like a visionary and unique. Is that what the card says?
Yes.
Okay, good. So the other thing I want to tell you is I have a feeling that what you wanted here, well, you landed on one of these. This is health. You look pretty healthy. I don't know if you're in a relationship or not. I don't know if money is an issue. Emotions, peace, lack of anxiety or anything like that. This is your career. Maybe this is what you're focused on, but I don't think this is really what you really want, Colleen. Okay, let's do it this way. Did you focus on health? I don't think you did. No, I don't think you did either. So I'm going to take that out as well. And then relationships, I don't think that was a big deal for you either. Was the relationships the thing you wrote down? I don't think so either. So we're down to 50%. The money thing, nah. I think what you really truly want when you came in here is this. And what this is, I'm going to tell you what I think it is. I think what you want is peace. Is that what you wrote?
Mm-hmm.
That's what you wrote down?
Mm-hmm.
Great, give her a hand. Excellent, wonderful. So, all of my notes are available. All you have to do is go to, I'll give you the information so you can get them. And it's just a PDF. I won't sell your information, but it's simply my name, G-R-E-G, at, a little at sign, at GregDwyer.com. So it's not Yahoo, it's not Gmail, it's not anything else. It's just my first name at GregDwyer.com. And so what they are is, it's the notes of the whole lecture. It gets into the details, it gets into the links, you can look up the information. But lastly, I want to show you this. This is a book of notes, and it's page numbered at the bottom from 1 to 20, and there are different words in here. And all of the words have to do with the lecture notes. So in some words are red, some word is triangle, some word is distraction. And so I look at the notes before the lecture, and it kind of reminds me of what the lecture is about. So I'm going to throw this ball out. I want somebody to catch it. Anybody? Who got it? Can you come up here? Come on up. Give her a hand. Yeah, bring the piece of paper. Use the stairs over here, and use the stairs over here. Oh, yeah, come on up. She wants another applause, ladies and gentlemen. This is Tammy. This is Tammy. All right, Tammy, this is my notes, all right? So I have here 20 pages, and we didn't work this out beforehand. And each page has a different note on it, a different word. So 1 through 20, actually let's do it this way, 2 through 20. Forget about 7. I don't want you to pick 7 because that would not be fair. And I don't want you to think of red or blue, but just pick any number you want.
How about number 11?
Excellent. So if you picked 2, it would be the word, see 2, it'd be the word distracted. And if you picked, 3, I'm telling you straight out, willpower does not keep you focused. It's a liar. I mean, it'll keep you focused for a while, but you'll be burnt out. The next page is discipline. Overwhelm. That's number 6. And 7, 7 is 7. And what number did you say?
11.
Okay, so 10 is autopilot, and what that reminds me of is we have 45 to 65,000 thoughts every single day, and if you don't change them, you're going to basically go to the same place. So the next one is 11, and that you could have picked any number.
11.
And we're going to go, this is a good one. I like it. What does it say? Say it out loud.
Focus.
It says focus. So let me tell you a little story. It's a true story. 2 men were sitting down at a restaurant. Bill Gates, Warren Buffett. You know the guy? All right. Warren Buffett, Bill Gates, sitting down. And they asked these 2 guys, what is the secret to success? And they gave him a piece of paper. Bill was over here. Warren Buffett was over there. Bill wrote down a word. And Warren Buffett wrote down a word. Guess what the word was?
Focus.
Exactly. That was the word. That was the word that you picked. That's the title of this. It was focus. Tammy, open up that piece of paper. And what does it say?
It says, what does it say? I'm sorry, it says focus.
It says focus. Thank you so much. All right, let me help you down. Thank you so much. It's 5 after 8. Thank you for being here. If you like the presentation and you know someone that would like to see it, just let me know. And send me an email at greg@gregdwyer.com. I'll be here for at least 15 minutes if you have any questions. Thank you so much.
Is that the exact format of your email address?
Yeah, it's my name, it's my first name, it's greg@gregdwyer.com. That's my email.
So all caps?
You don't have to do caps, you just have to write my name, greg@gregdwyer.com. Oh, good, thank
How
you.
did you know I wrote?
It's an educated guess. Yeah. Thank you, appreciate it. Thank you. Drive safe, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Greg, you said phones,
Eyes up.
Eyes up phones up.
Yeah, that's what I saw on the highway today.
But the simple solution.
Yes, yes, it is, it is.
What?
Turn your phone off. Thank you.
How many days? They come every day now.
I blow his thing
What do
about
you do?
68
I
times
work
a
in a
day.
store right now.
Maybe more.
Thank you. Oh, thank you, I appreciate it.
Occupation. And then I got a job in the brokerage company. Have a good night and safe brokerage company.
Thank you.
Safe drive.
Then I got a
Thank you.
job in a paving company. Yeah, and then this was good. And I got nothing.
Oh,